everybody. Chicago Gooner here, bringing another Arsenal talk. Well, back-to-back FA Cup champions. Uh, you know, what can you really say? I mean, everybody is just buzzing right now. Everybody's beaming. Uh, just a great day. Another great day in Arsenal's history. 12-time FA Cup champions. We are the kings of the FA Cup. Um, just a great game from start to finish, almost a perfect game by Arsenal. Looking at some of the stats: 59% possession for us, 41% for Aston Villa. Yeah, we gave them possession a little bit after that third goal. Um, 17 shots, 9 on target. 2 shots for them, none on target. Both of their shots were blocked. Um, had a few offsides, no yellow cards. Aston Villa had 5 yellow cards. Um, almost like a perfect game. The first, uh, 25 minutes, we were kind of smacking the ball around. We weren't comfortable. It almost looked like we came out nervous. We didn't come out nervous like we did last year, where we were just like opened up, got hit on the counter. It really looked like we wanted to kind of stay compact. We wanted to try to feel the game out right from the start. And again, we were just kind of smacking the ball around. We couldn't really put too many passes together. We couldn't really grab hold of the game yet until about the 25th minute, where we finally started to relax. We started to feel comfortable. We started to make Aston Villa chase the ball around and tire them out. In Tim Sherwood fashion, he just didn't want to stay compact and stay all 11 behind the ball. Swansea City, Chelsea, even Sunderland gave him the blueprint of how to stop us, how to even beat us. And, Tim Sherwood doesn't play like that. You kind of have to tip your hat to him in that respect, that he's not going to just come out and park the bus for 90 minutes, that he wants to come out and actually try to play. But that just goes right into our strengths, that even though they might be attacking, we're allowing them to attack so we can hit them on the counter. And we have to do more of that, especially against teams who plan to park the bus against us. We have to let them have possession a little bit so we can hit them on the counter, because Arsenal on the counter is just deadly. We're one of the deadliest teams in the world when it comes to counterattacking. We have the quality, we have the players, the passing ability, and it was just great. Leading up to the first goal, we were knocking on the door. Lauren Koscielny had an early chance, and Gibbons made a save. You just thought after that save, we were knocking on the door. We were doing everything else right except for scoring. And after that Koscielny save, you just thought, oh my God, here's another goalkeeper who's going to have a worldly game against us. And that's not something that we really wanted. It was a good save by Gibbons. It was a good header by Koscielny, and you were just kind of putting your hands in your face. You just wanted that first goal. You wanted Arsenal to score that first goal to relieve the nerves and relieve the tension. Because leading up to the game, it was just, every Arsenal fan was just like, come on, let's start strong this time. Let's start comfortable. Let's not start like we did last year. Let's not play nervous. And, we acted like we've been there before. Like I said, like after about that 20th minute is when we started to really feel comfortable, when we could start making them chase the ball around. First goal, of course, in the 40th minute came from Theo Walcott. Alexis Sanchez, you have to give him a lot of props on that goal because he kept it alive. He headed the ball into space, and then Theo Walcott was just blazing up the field and hit it on his weak foot, slammed it. You needed to slam it there. You needed to put as much power and pace on the ball as possible so the goalkeeper just has zero chance. Perfect placement. Goalkeeper Gibbons, he had no chance at making a save, and after that first goal, you just felt the tension exit out of every Arsenal fan, especially in the stadium, because even in Wembley, you would think last game of the season, the fans would just be going nuts. The fans would be just singing from second one to the final whistle, and they went silent there for a while, to where no songs were being sung, not too many cheers, not too many chants. You could hear the Aston Villa fans, going nuts throughout most of the first 40 minutes, and then once we scored that goal, it was just, like I said, the tension just broke. We could finally exhale a little bit. Of course, it came from Theo Walcott. 4 goals now as a striker in the past 2 games. I think that's where Arsene Wenger is probably going to keep him from now on. It's going to be a battle between him and Giroud for next season of who gets more of the playing time. I guess a little side note, Theo Walcott was asked after the game if he's going to stay, and he said, of course. That was the thing, I guess, with Theo Walcott. It wasn't about the money. It was about playing time. He gave an interview after the West Brom game, and that's what he basically said, that he was more worried about playing time than he is about the money. So that's a good thing. So now if Arsene Wenger keeps him up top and just keeps him as a striker, that's good for us. That gives us a different option to Giroud. That gives us even a different option to Danny Welbeck. And that's where maybe he should stay, because then we can put the Ox on the right side. We can put Danny Welbeck on the right side, and we don't have to worry about, the only thing that you do worry about, Walcott is holding the ball up, winning headers, and just, what Giroud does is just bust his ass, and he does defend, and he tries to defend. Theo doesn't really do that much. He's kind of like a more of a classic striker, to where once the ball passes halfway line, he just kind of gives up on it, and he just kind of walks it or gingerly jogs to the halfway line, waiting for to get possession back. But again, great goal by him. That's great to see him coming back from injury, scoring goals, looking confident, playing confident. Still need to work on some things, obviously. He'll have the off season to work on those things and to get better. Arsene Wenger and the coaching staff really need to work a little bit more with Theo, and his positioning, his runs. I think he got called offsides about 4 times today. But it's great to see for the future that we do have a different option now to our 2 other strikers. Of course, coming out of halftime, you were hoping that the floodgates would open for Arsenal, because then they couldn't really defend all that much anymore. They really had to try to go after it as far as Aston Villa goes. And coming out of the gates, I mean, even coming out of the second half, Aston Villa just looked gassed. They looked like they put everything they had possible into that first half, and even coming out of the second half, they just looked tired. Even leading up to the Alexis Sanchez goal, that goal, wow. People were talking, giving props to Jack Wilshere and his goal, and it was a goal of the season. That was a goal of the FA Cup by far. I mean, that goal was, 25, 30 yards out on a rope. Head movement, slicing away from the goalkeeper. Perfect technique. That's what you expect out of a world-class striker or a world-class player. You can just watch that goal over and over again, and you're just like, wow. You really have no words for it after you see something like that. You're just like, holy shit. That's the only thing that you can really muster out of your mouth, because it was just a fantastic goal. And of course, that just put the game away. That just, anything that Aston Villa had was just, they were dead. They were done from that goal on. And that even gave us more confidence. I mean, you saw, especially after that goal, the little flicks, the back heels, the one-touch passing, just making Aston Villa just run their ass off all over the pitch just to try to get the ball back, and they just couldn't do it. Of course, the third goal was per Mertesacker. He kind of basically dummied uh, Christian Benteke on that set piece, on that corner. He basically juked him out. He thought he was running near post. He stopped, took a couple steps back, and he had a free header. And when you have a free header, you need to put it home, and you need to score. And that's exactly what Per Mertesacker did. And to see him good on the score line too, great for him. He's had a up and down season throughout this whole season. He's been one of the few people who has not been hurt this season. One of the few people who's played a ton of games, a ton of minutes. Like I said, it's been an up and down season for him, so it's great to see him get a goal in the FA Cup final and just really drive it home. I mean, after that, it was all over. Even after that goal, Arsenal pretty much even switched off themselves. Kind of, it happened in the 62nd minute. And, even after that, it was just kind of like, okay, we won. Let's just pass the ball around. Let's get this game over with. Let's start doing some training ground stuff. In between that time, we should have had two more goals easily. Aaron Ramsey had two perfect passes, one to Mesut Ozil and one to Theo Walcott. I mean, perfect on a plate. They should have been converted. They weren't. Theo actually did have a shot on goal. Or he didn't even. It wasn't even on goal. I mean, it was like 15 yards off. He tried to curl it in, and it just came really raw off his foot. And yeah, like 15 yards wide of the goal. You were really hoping, to give props to Aaron Ramsey and picking those guys out, and to give him the assist because he definitely deserved one on those two passes. I mean, just beautiful long passes. That's one thing that you really want to see Aaron Ramsey get better at, especially if he, hopefully next season, that he is the day in and day out CM. And that's one of the things as a CM that you really want your CM to do, as well as is really pick out those long balls, especially if you have a pacey striker like a Theo Walcott, or you have a pacey winger like Alexis Sanchez or the Ox or Danny Welbeck, that you can add that to your repertoire and be even more deadly as a CM and even as a team. But those two should have been converted. It should have been 5-0. It was just a complete ass kicking. Even at the end there, Olivier Giroud, a typical goal by Olivier Giroud. Jack Wilshere, the Ox, even Olivier Giroud. Even when he came on, it looked like he wasn't really trying that much. But on that goal, you saw Jack Wilshere, the Ox, and Giroud not give up. And Aston Villa, they just got caught ball watching. They were just done by then. They were gassed. They had nothing left. And of course, credit to those guys who did come on as subs. The Ox came in about the 89th minute to not give up, to go after another goal, to have that like kind of killer instinct, because they want to be on the score sheet. They want to have the assists. They want to be part of a goal, especially in the FA Cup final, because you never know when you get back. Of course, we've been back-to-back champions, but at the same time, you just never know when you'll get back there. So you have to take advantage of every opportunity that you get, and they took advantage of it. And it was just a typical Olivier Giroud flick goal, and it was nice to see him get on the score sheet as well, because he hasn't scored in about 8 games, and it was just nice to see him score. He deserved a goal. He deserved to play even in the game, even as a sub or even as a starter, in my opinion. But again, it was just a great game by just about everybody. Santi Cazorla's free kicks, other than that corner, just he didn't do all that well. Mesut Ozil was just, I mean, what more can you ask for from your world-class players? Him and Alexis Sanchez, especially Ozil. I mean, he was just doing his little flicks and his passes, and he set up. He tried to set up Theo Walcott a couple times as well, and on the ball, the passing. The in sync between all the midfielders, and it really started with Santi and Mesut Ozil, and he was just doing whatever he wanted out on the pitch, pretty much. The only thing that he didn't get is a goal and assist, and to play like that, to play the way he did, I hope the pundits finally just step off. because that's what you expect out of your world-class players to play at that level and play at the level that, you know what, they are better than everybody else on the pitch. They are better than the opposition, and they showed it today. Both him and Sanchez showed that today. He looked a little mad when he came off the pitch, but at the same time, you know, give one of the guys who've been sitting on the bench, give him, a few minutes in the FA Cup final. Um, for the most part, it's been everybody's. The Ox missed the FA Cup final last year due to injury. He was in the semifinal and he played, I believe, every single minute of the semifinal. So it was nice to see him get on the pitch for the FA Cup final to have that kind of experience. Because at the end of the day, regardless if you get taken off in whatever time, you're still champions. You're still going to lift the trophy at the end. I know players want to be on the pitch when the final whistle blows, but at the same time, when the game is in hand, when Aston Villa wasn't dangerous whatsoever in the entire game, give your teammates the opportunity to come onto the pitch and have that experience. And, he's a competitor. I get it. He wants to stay on the pitch, just like Alexis Sanchez. A lot of Mesut Ozil's body language gets, it gets ridiculed in a bad way, to where he's just a competitor. He wants to win. He wants to be on the pitch every single second of a game. He wants to continue on. He wants to continue trying to create goals and be the playmaker and to keep on winning. And that's just him. That's what separates world class players from an average player. They expect so much from themselves. They expect perfection. But again, just a great game by everybody. The back line, they weren't really tested all that much. Hector Bellerin had another great game. I thought Monreal played great as well. Per Mertesacker, if Liverpool wants to buy Christian Benteke, they can find him in Per Mertesacker's pocket, because that's where he's going to be staying until the start of next season. Because Benteke, he didn't really do himself any favors if he wants to move on to a different club. He really didn't. You can blame, the service too, but at the same time, when you're showcased, when you're expected to be the player for your team and expected to show up and do something special, he just didn't do it. Per Mertesacker, as slow as he is, Christian Benteke, he's trying to fight out of his pocket, and he's just going to stay there for the rest of the summer. That's how tight. Every header, everybody on the pitch, when they're 50-50 balls, when they're 50-50 headers, we won them, and that's what wins a game in the end, especially defensively. That's what wins a game. Mertesacker was throwing his body around. Koscielny was throwing his body around. Hector Bellerin, Monreal, Coughlin, again, another great game. People who are talking about the transfer window and saying we need another CM to play alongside, whether it's Santi or anything. We need a better passer of the ball at that DM spot. How fucking nuts are you to want that, to need that? We've all been screaming that we need a proper DM. We finally have one. We have one who is athletic, who can track back, who's not slow, who will throw his body around, who will never stop running, who will give everything that he has for the club, for the team, for his teammates, for the fans. And here's some idiots saying we need another CM, a better passer of the ball. I want Coughlin the starter for Arsenal next season and throughout the entire season. Yeah, of course, a backup DM would be, or one or equal or better would help. But is there a better one? Can we find an equal to Coughlin? Possibly, but he's one of the main reasons, along with Alexis Sanchez, of why we are where we are right now, why we're lifting up the FA Cup trophy, why we finished third in the league, and why you would want something different is just mind-boggling. It really is. Another great game by him. Santi is playing well at the CM spot. I'd still rather have Ramsey there. it's up in the air right now what Santi's going to do. But if Santi does stay, you can probably bet that him and Ramsey are going to be fighting it out for that CM spot. You can almost see, Jack being in there as well. You can almost see Jack possibly being, a backup, wing player for the time being, until Santi does possibly leave the club, because Santi only has 1 year left on his contract. But great game by just about everybody. Chesney, there's a few moments there with Chesney, especially in that first half, where you were just, please, not today. Don't act up today. Don't act like a wild card. Don't throw this game away, because he had a couple of instances in that first half where you just wanted to throw your head into the wall. And it's instances like that's why he's not starting. Yeah, he has the side. He has kind of like the athletic ability as a goalkeeper, as a modern day goalkeeper. But at the same time, you just can't make those stupid mistakes where you come out, you completely miss the ball on a punch, you completely miss the ball on a catch. You just can't do those things, and expect to play a lot of minutes. It was surprising, of course, the notes throughout the week that Chesney was basically playing with the first team throughout training in the week, and it was still surprising to see that he did start. Of course, it's typical Arsene Wenger. He's loyal. He's loyal to his players. That's why people want to play with him. That's why players want to come to Arsenal and play under Arsene Wenger, because he is so loyal to his players. But at the same time, if it backfired, it would be on Arsene Wenger. But he made the right moves today, obviously, with Theo Walcott playing up top, and Chesney in goal. Clean sheet. You can't really complain. At the end of the day, you can't really complain about anything, because we're lifting up the trophy. Back-to-back champions, 12-time champions, kings of the FA Cup. The parade tomorrow is going to be fun. We're going to show Chelsea of how to properly put on a parade and properly have a showing of the fans in London of how to do it. And it's going to be fun. Hopefully it's on Arsenal Player. Still trying to find out when that's going to be on tomorrow, when the parade's going to start. Hopefully they do it on Arsenal Player again, because they did it last year. But again, just a great day. And I guess to everybody out there, for Arsenal fans, be safe, be responsible. Don't party too hard. You can party hard. You can party responsibly. Don't be stupid. Don't try to get into any fights. Don't try to get so sloppy drunk that you decide to get in your car or something and drive home. That's just stupid. That's just stupidity. There's a way to have fun and be responsible at the same time. But enjoy the rest of the weekend. Hopefully the parade will be on tomorrow. And on to next year. I don't know when my next Arsenal talk is going to be, just because of I'm moving, so it's going to be difficult for the next maybe week and a half, depending on when I can get my cable service back up, so I can do another Arsenal talk and talk about the transfer season and stuff like that, and who may or may not be coming in or out of Arsenal, and what we really need. But if you want to listen to my reviews of the strikers, the wingers, and midfielders, I have 3 episodes already done with that, so check those out if you haven't already. But other than that, great day to be an Arsenal fan. Mind the gap. Tottenham is supposedly playing in Sydney right now in a friendly, while we're lifting a trophy up for the 12th time. And mind the gap, fuckers.